Welcome back to our deep dive. Today we're tackling something that's stirring up a lot of conversation, really across the board. The rise of AI agents and whether they could actually replace the traditional software we use every day.
It's definitely a key question, sitting right at that intersection of tech, philosophy, business strategy, you name it. Are we on the verge of, well, a fundamental shift in how we interact with computers?
Exactly. We've looked at a range of materials exploring this, looking at the disruptive potential, sure,
Mm.
but also the limits, the challenges that are still very much there.
Mm-hmm.
And for everyone listening, whether you're deep in the tech weeds or just curious, our goal today is to offer a clear, accessible look at this evolving landscape. Hopefully, spark a few aha moments along the way.
Sounds good. I think to start, we really need to pin down what we mean by intelligent agents. How are they actually different from conventional software?
Okay, let's dive into that. Traditional software, historically, it runs on very specific, predictable instructions, right? A word processor does what I tell it. A spreadsheet calculates what I program. How does an agent differ?
The core difference really is their ability to perceive their environment, make autonomous decisions based on goals, learn from experience, and act even when things are uncertain or changing. They're not just executing a predefined script.
That sounds like a pretty major difference. Can you give us a concrete example, maybe, to make it clear?
Sure. Let's imagine you task something with, help me put together an investment proposal for a startup in the Latin American energy sector.
Okay.
With traditional software, you'd have to do each step. Research the market, analyze the data, structure the document, write it, maybe design slides, send it off.
Right, lots of manual stats.
Exactly. An intelligent agent, on the other hand, could take that high-level instruction and potentially run with it.
Yeah.
Do the research, organize the findings, draft the proposal, maybe even send it all without direct human input at every single stage. It's this shift from software as a passive tool to an active collaborator. That fundamentally changes the human-computer relationship.
So we've gone from having a tool that just responds to potentially having a partner that takes initiative to achieve a goal.
Precisely. It's software evolving from a passive instrument to an active partner in getting things done.
And we're already seeing hints of this, or maybe more than hints, in different software areas now, aren't we?
We absolutely are. Sometimes we might not even fully realize it's happening. Take office software and personal productivity, for instance.
Definitely. We're seeing more auto-generated text in emails or tools that summarize long documents. Platforms like Notion or Google Docs are integrating features that automate workflows pretty smartly.
Correct. And in business systems, too. Think about CRM systems, customer relationship management tools. Smarter ones can manage contacts, flag sales opportunities, follow up, often without constant oversight. Same with ERP systems, the big enterprise resource planning software. They're becoming more adaptive, learning organizational dynamics to optimize processes.
And one area that's gotten a lot of buzz is software development itself. We've seen agents like Devin emerge, promising to automate huge chunks of the development lifecycle: coding, debugging, deployment.
Yeah, and what's fascinating there is the potential for these agents not just to write new code, but to get involved in maintenance, refactoring, even testing. That really could reshape the role of human developers.
Right. And we can't forget customer service, where chatbots have evolved dramatically. They're not just simple decision trees anymore. They can understand intent, context, sometimes even sentiment.
The common thread in all these areas is that agents excel at tasks that need a mix of autonomy, understanding natural language, and the ability to use multiple tools or systems.
Okay, so the potential is clearly huge. But despite this promising picture, there are still significant limits, right? Things preventing a total replacement of traditional software, at least for now.
Oh, absolutely. It's crucial to be realistic about the current hurdles. One of the biggest is simply accuracy and reliability.
What do you mean specifically?
Well, while agents are getting incredibly sophisticated, they can still make subtle errors. And sometimes those errors can have really serious consequences. Imagine an agent making a mistake in a medical diagnosis
Oof, yeah.
or a large financial transaction. Without direct human oversight, the results could be pretty damaging.
That's a very critical point.
Yeah.
I also understand that running these agents, especially the ones based on large language models, LLMs, these complex AI systems trained on vast text data, takes enormous computational resources.
That's right. The costs involved with the necessary infrastructure, we're talking powerful GPUs, massive storage, significant energy consumption. That's a major barrier to widespread adoption right now. It limits who can deploy this effectively at scale.
Another challenge often mentioned is explainability. or auditability.
Okay.
Understanding why an agent made a particular decision.
Yes, and that's a tricky one. In many cases, it's hard to trace the exact reasoning behind an agent's output. This creates serious problems in regulated environments, finance, healthcare again, where you need transparency and the ability to audit processes. Lack of explainability is a significant risk.
Plus, a lot of our current tech infrastructure is built on legacy systems, right? Older software that wasn't designed with modern agents in mind.
Exactly. Think about all the COBOL systems still running in banks or close-off databases in older enterprise software. Getting modern agents to interact reliably with these legacy environments is a huge technical challenge.
And finally, we can't ignore the sort of ethical questions, issues around control and governance that autonomous agents raise.
This might be the most complex hurdle, honestly. Who's responsible if an agent makes a harmful decision? How do we ensure their actions align with human values and regulations? Governing truly autonomous AI is something we're only just beginning to grapple with.
Okay, so given this landscape of potential and limitations, how might we think about the likely future scenarios?
We can probably sketch out a few possibilities. One is a kind of gradual convergence. Traditional software evolves by incorporating more agent-like components. We're seeing this already with AI assistants, often called co-pilots, showing up in various apps.
Yeah, tools like Microsoft Copilot or Notion AI are good examples of AI being integrated to help with specific tasks within familiar applications.
Right. Another scenario, more disruptive, would be widespread replacement, where we interact primarily with a sort of universal agent for almost all our digital needs, shopping, health queries, financial decisions, you name it. People talk about persistent personal agents.
A single intelligent point of contact managing our digital lives. Sounds like sci-fi, but it's definitely a possibility people are considering.
It is. However, the scenario that seems most probable, at least in the short to medium term, is more of a hybrid coexistence. Agents and traditional software working together, each playing to its strengths based on the task's complexity and how much human control is needed. So, agents might handle high-level goals, while traditional software manages more deterministic operations requiring precise control.
That hybrid scenario does feel like the most realistic kind of gradual path forward. So, given that, how should people listening prepare for this shift, whether developers, business leaders, or just folks interested in where tech is going?
Well, for those with a technical background, especially software developers, it's becoming crucial to get familiar with the emerging frameworks and tools for building agents, things like LangChain, AutoGen, Crew AI. It's also important to think about designing APIs and applications that are, let's say, agent-friendly, easy for these systems to interact with, and of course, anticipate shifts in software business models, maybe moving from licenses towards agent interaction-based pricing.
And for professionals and business leaders, what are the key takeaways for them?
Investing in what you might call agent literacy for their teams is vital. They need to understand what agents can and can't do to identify tasks ripe for automation, usually repetitive information-based work.
Right.
And very importantly, they need to start establishing clear principles and guidelines for using autonomous AI responsibly within their organizations.
What about academia and education? What are the implications there?
It's really critical that curricula get updated to include topics like intelligent agents, autonomous reasoning, and the associated ethical considerations. Fostering critical thinking about the role of artificial autonomy in society is going to be essential.
So wrapping up, it sounds like AI agents are definitely here to stay. They're going to profoundly change the software landscape, even if they don't completely replace everything overnight.
The key takeaway is probably that our interaction with intelligent systems is moving towards being more conversational, more personalized, more context-aware. We'll shift from using specific tools for specific tasks to delegating broader goals to these agents.
It's helpful maybe to think about analogies like the arrival of the internet or mobile computing and how they reshape things. The agent revolution feels like it could be on that scale.
I think so. Agents aren't the end of software. They're more like the beginning of a new era software that feels more alive, more autonomous, more collaborative.
And maybe one final thought to leave everyone with, something to chew on. If more and more of our tasks can simply be delegated to intelligent agents, how might that redefine our very understanding of work and productivity in the future?
That's a big question.
It is. It invites us to think about the broader impacts of this fascinating transition, both in our professional and personal lives. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.